All right, welcome Senior Home Business family. It's Wednesday. It means Brittany and Matt are on live talking about senior living. Brittany was on a cruise last week and Matt was here still doing the live, which turned in, Brittany, you don't know this, but turned into a video because my live last week was all chaos. I mean, I got on the first 60 seconds, I think was good. And then it started to echo. And then my camera started doing real funny things. And then it went all black. It was really weird. So anyway, I pressed through with it and it took me like 6 or 7 minutes to get back. And then Josh edited the video and made it an actual video instead of a live. So people don't have to kind of see that in the recorded version. But yeah, so we're talking about senior living today, talking about funny moments. So hang with us a little bit. If you want to know more about what we can do, you can drop down, click the links down below. And Brittany, I'm super excited about our tour senior living, our kind of deal where we're helping out seniors and their families that they can make a decision by themselves. I mean, obviously with our assistance if they want, but sometimes people don't want, the assistance of a middleman. They want to make their own decision. And so, you look at this thing here. Let me kind of cool in here a little bit. So this is my little iPad right here, Brittany. So it's got my communities on here. And then we'll get to the point where some of them, I think it's right down here, some of them are not verified yet. Bang. Oh, they're not verified yet. So these communities are going to have to fill out their form and sign the referral agreement to get verified. But we're super excited about that because this iPad or this tablet, Brittany will be in skilled nursings throughout my area. I know you're doing it in DFW. I know students all across the country. We've got students from Florida to Oregon to multiple different states throughout the country doing it. So it's a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to that. But anyway, let's get to it. And again, if you want to know more about what we do too, there's other links you can drop down and do all that stuff. But let's talk about funny moments with seniors, because kind of take a lighter approach today, because I know we're kind of real heavy on some issues at times, and we need to be, right? We need to know how to guide families through the process of making an informed decision about where mom or dad should go. And we talk all about the particulars of senior living, what to expect, all those kind of things. But sometimes it's the unexpected that's kind of funny. And there's funny moments. And I know, Brittany, through the years that you've done this, you've encountered some stories. I've encountered some stories. And if you decide out there, the listening audience, that you want to get involved in this business, you're going to have some fun times. Now, you're going to have some trying times. You're going to have some times where it's, it's a challenging moment for the families, and you might encounter people crying, and it's a heartbreaking experience. I get all that. But the kind of a lighter approach today, sometimes it's just funny. I mean, seniors are people. And I think when people are funny when they're young or, middle-aged, they're oftentimes funny when they're older in life. And so, Brittany, have you encountered some of these funny moments? And we're going to get into a couple of videos today, so if you're watching, just stay with us. But I mean, have you encountered a lot of funny moments on tours and different things?
Yeah, a lot. Like you said, they're humans, they're characters. Everyone has personalities. So they have the best stories, and a lot of them do revolve. Like if you're on tours and you're talking to other residents, they have the funniest stories. And the cool thing about being in a community is like everyone knows all those funny stories, and they all kind of like have these mutual, what do they call it? Like inside jokes. The whole community has their own inside jokes. So yeah, I think they do have a lot of fun. I think we're going to talk about that there's so much fun to be had, whether it's like organized fun or just really like inside jokes with the community. They have a lot. They really do.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a nursing home, people. I mean, it can be, and there are nursing homes. I get that. And there's assisted livings that some of you guys are going to have stories of like, oh my gosh, it was a nightmare and I don't want to be there. But I'm telling you, there's some communities that are out there. It is far from a nursing home. It's vibrant. It's a lively atmosphere. Seniors are people. And like we were talking about, as far as personality types, I mean, it just kind of carries over. But one thing that I get, Brittany, from a lot of, well, I don't get it all the time, but I get it probably a fair number of times, is when seniors talk about moving in, they go, I'm not old. I'm moving in. I just had this happen the other day. Matter of fact, I didn't talk to the resident, but I talked to, it was the daughter's friend, which was a lady that I helped move two of her loved ones years ago. She called me yesterday and she was like, man, I got a situation with a friend. Her mom is down in Redondo Beach. and she needs to go, but she doesn't want to. And that was her very thing. She just told her daughter, she goes, I'm not moving because I'm not old. Do you ever get that?
All the time. I had 96 years old on the tour with us. She was 100% cognitively, no impairment there. And she said, I don't want to be around all these old people. And she was 96. I hear it. That's actually super, super common. Yeah. I've had some seniors tell me they don't like old people. That's exactly what they say. I don't like old people. Yeah. In their 90s. It's crazy. Really quick story. I was at a community yesterday. They have a 91-year-old resident in St. Louis. He works about 45 minutes away from the St. Louis Cardinals baseball stadium, and he is 91 and drives there and still works for them. He is the one that walks the umpires out or whatever. He walks everybody out on the game. Yep, 91. They said he smokes a cigar about this big in the parking lot. And
I love that guy. Love that guy.
But he's 91. He's probably one that would say, I'm not old.
That's right. Yeah. You're as old as you feel, right? I mean, and I know life treats people differently, and some people age quicker than others. But I mean, the flip side of it is we've all met somebody, like to your point, maybe 96, 90, somewhere around there, that it's like, man, they look like they're in their early 80s, late 70s. And, I've seen people like that. I even noticed, I'm 56. I even noticed people, friends of mine went to school with. Now, I've also got those friends I went to school with that are my age, 56. They look like they're 76. I have no idea how that happened. But there are some that 56, I'm looking at them going, dang on, you still look like you're 45. It's amazing. So the DNA, the looks later, but the personality, what comes out of them. And I think that's what they mean when they say they want to be around old people, is that typically the senior environment, at least our perception of it is, oftentimes it's just a lot of people that are comatose. They're just laying around. There's nothing really going on. And, I kind of look at it this way. The secret social life of seniors is it's like college with naps. I mean, there's a lot of naps that goes on. And I know from getting older, I love naps anyway. I think naps are empowering. I think it refreshes you. I think it's a new outlook on life. When I was a kid, no kid wants to take a nap, right? It's like, oh, no, that's something I don't want to do. The older you get, that's kind of a time of refreshing. It's like, I like naps, but it's kind of like college with naps, right? And so it's, seniors are going to, take a nap here and there. And if you are looking for your loved one out there for senior living or something like that, and you go on a tour, this is a prime example. You go on a tour and nothing's going on. Well, the senior living college might be down a little bit and everybody's taking a nap. And that's okay. Like if you come right after breakfast, Brittany, or right after lunch, man, I know for myself too, sometimes I'll kind of get into the recliner and like, oh man, it's nice. Yeah, I kind of get cozy. Well, seniors do the same thing. So if you're out there taking a tour during that time and nothing's going on, don't, come up with the thinking that, man, nothing ever goes on in this community, because they might just be taking a nap. You see us seniors taking a lot of naps, Brittany? That's it.
Yeah, I say like 2:00 for me. I try to avoid that time for tours because, to your point, everybody's taking a nap. Yeah. I mean, even if you go into a community around that time, they might even be napping in like the lobby, it's just everybody's quiet. They're reading a book. Yeah. Lots of downtime. I always tell families I'm working with 2:00, 11:00, right kind of between breakfast and lunch and dinner is downtime. I do know some communities kind of plan their activities to keep them up during those times.
Yeah.
So they sleep better at night. I've seen that a little bit more, like after lunch, they kind of transition directly into an activity. But yeah, they nap.
Well, speaking of activity, let's show you an activity right now. This is so funny right here. Just listen.
The world's largest senior center indoor snowball fight.
A snowball fight indoors. This will be an awesome tour right here.
Yeah.
If you're giving a tour, this is going on. Oh man, I think a lot of families would love this.
Oh, I love that.
So it goes on and on, man. But it's just one big snowball fight, Brittany, and it's just, that is the life of seniors. I mean, they love to have a good time. And we're going to see another video in just a little bit about bingo, and bingo can be a very challenging time. I've seen other videos where I would call it bingo drama. It kind of comes out, especially if you call bingo too soon or you don't know the rules of the game. And there's people just like people get irritated and agitated at others that don't know how to play the game. And so that goes on in the senior world too. What about this one, Brittany? It says senior technology struggles. You know, this is a senior going, Alexa, call my grandson. Wait, who's Alexa? That's a question I would have. Matter of fact, we got 2 of those things in our house, one upstairs, one down. I can't stand those things. My wife loves it because she uses it for timers when she cooks and all kinds of other stuff. She can just say, play music, and the music that she likes pops on. I get all that stuff. I hate it. There was one time when I came down in the stairs and I got into the kitchen area and she just started playing music.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't shut up. I was like, Alexa, shut up, shut up, shut up. I told my wife when she got up that day, I said, I came this close, real close to taking that thing and throwing it outside somewhere. I hate that thing. But, you know, it's technology is a little different with seniors. I've got a residential care home that's a smart home. And so they can actually say fan on, fan off, that kind of thing. Lights on, lights off. They got a little tablet in their room so they can actually FaceTime back and forth with their loved ones. I think that's very important, especially when times of COVID. Hopefully that never happens again. But if something similar happens like that again, when families are not permitted to visit their loved ones, you want technology. And so, but then again, I mean, technology is only as good as the user, right? I mean, my mom and dad, I think I've told you this many times, my mom can, make her way around Facebook and some technology. My dad is like, God bless him, he's clueless, man. He don't know where to go, how to. I mean, you could tell him, hey, click the mouse, and he'd be like, mouse, where's the mouse on the floor? I mean, he wouldn't have a clue. And my dad's a smart guy. He just never got on the computer, never learned that part of the game, and never had any desire to. But how important do you think technology is when it comes to seniors, and especially senior living communities, to have some sort of technology?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important. I think I've seen some cool technology that maybe the residents aren't involved in directly, but recently going into new communities like safety technologies. I mean, there are some really cool things. Like I have one, they're actually monitoring like heart rate and temperature of your body by technology in their apartments without having anyway, just cool things like that. But as far as like the residents, I know a lot of communities have like technology classes. I always get when I worked in a community inside of one, it was the phones all the time, the iPhones, like I'm getting locked out. Why Siri won't call my son? They use Siri.
Right.
Yeah, at the front desk, they would come to the dining room or they would come chat with us. It was always like phones. So I think it's really important. I've had 95-year-olds that use technology better than me. And then there's some that just need more help. So I know like I've seen technology classes for their phones, their iPads, their Nooks, their Kindles, all that stuff inside the community, which is really cool. But to your Alexa point, I have heard we had them a lot. We were in independent living. And you would just hear them in the hallway yelling at Alexa to shut up, or like, Alexa, what are you talking about?
Right.
Well, we used to like really, actually some independent living communities come with them now, but I think they're starting to backpedal a little bit. They were giving more issues than they were benefit, but I think it's important. I think technology is huge. Like I said, I'm seeing extreme. I have a memory care now. They have basically looks like a lamp above the bed. And if they roll out of bed or fall, it detects it. And it records 10 minutes prior to see how they felt. So we can see were they tossing and turning, were they looking to go to the bathroom. So as soon as it dictates that they are falling or having too much movement, it records. So those are cool things that are being implemented.
Yeah. What about food? When food becomes a competitive sport, what are you doing sitting in my chair, my section? What are you doing sitting at my table? You're getting the last dessert? I mean, I have seen a lot of this. I mean, I used to work for a large community, you know that. And I didn't see a whole lot of it because I was outside marketing, but I was there one day a week. I think I told you, unfortunately, it was Saturday. My wife didn't like that. I didn't like that. But the other marketing directors had to take a day off at some point. So that was my day to go in all day. And so I didn't do any outside stuff that day. That was all, answering emails, these national companies, could be some local senior placement agents as well. But I had a chance to hang out with seniors and walk around. So I saw firsthand some of this stuff. And I don't think this goes on all the time, but it's like we become creatures of habit. And if you do it long enough, you just kind of come to expect that's my chair, that's my table. and there will be a somewhat of an altercation. There can be at least drama verbally that if you're sitting in somebody's seat. So it's part of the move-in process. And what you and I have talked about before many times over, it usually takes a senior 3 to 4 weeks to get acclimated into the community. Well, this is one of the reasons when they go to the dining hall, where do I sit? It's kind of like, remember back when you were in school? I mean, even in high school, right? It wasn't so much in college, but in high school, you kind of had your areas, right, where you kind of sat. And that doesn't mean, no one had assigned seats, but it was just kind of like that was understood. That's where your group went. And we're kind of like cattle that way, man. We kind of go, well, seniors are no different. But if you get, sitting down at the wrong spot and you get somebody that's a little more agitated, which, I mean, seniors can be friendly too, but some of them can be just like regular, ordinary people that get irritated, and you might get some flack for that. I don't know. Have you seen that kind of stuff?
I was a dining room manager in a large.
Oh, you probably saw a lot. Oh, talk to me. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, yeah, like you said, a lot of people refer to it as high school. We get a lot of that, like high school cliques. They're creatures of habit. A lot of communities don't have assigned seats. They say that when you tour them, but they kind of do without, it's off record. It's their own assigned seats that the residents have chosen. Yeah, I've seen a lot of it. And, one thing that we talk about, especially with families, is having like a welcome committee where they can bring them to dinner and kind of like get them acclimated and get them with a group. That's huge, super important. To get, like, I know the community I worked at, their first dinner would be with the welcome community for the first week. So they would introduce them to people.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because that can be a make it or break it in any community. It's like going to a new school. Everybody says that. My competition that I saw the most, or how it became a little, whatever you want to call it, like heated, would be the food chats. So we would have a monthly, and they would all come and give their opinions on the food and what they want. And that is where it became a competition. It was a lot. I mean, it was a lot for me and the dining director, but they used to really tear into us. And then if someone had an opinion about whatever, pea soup, and then they would say, oh, we hate it, oh, we love it. Like, that's when it was like fair competition. I found, working in dining for the majority of my senior living, experience when I was there, besides my internships and some marketing, I found that is like their main, like, that is so important. Dinner and lunch is something they look forward to. It is like their big social event. So they take it really seriously. So
absolutely. Yeah. I like that welcome committee you're talking about, and being with them for about a week. That makes a lot of sense, because can you imagine if you were more of an introvert, and so you're just kind of thrown into the situation, and let's just take, for the sake of argument, nobody really reaches out to you. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully everybody's embracing the new person. Let's say they don't. Man, you really could be in for just a rough start at your new place, and that could really depress somebody and all that stuff. So it's so important to have this welcome committee and have seniors. That, I've said this many times on this channel too, Brittany. It's like, when I negotiate for families, oftentimes the best opportunities I have to negotiate is when the senior is a little more outgoing. Obviously they're ambulatory, they need less care, all that stuff, but they're just a little more outgoing. Because the reason that they like those residents, not like they prefer any particular resident. I mean, it is what it is. They're going to take care of seniors. But the reason they like having seniors like that is just what you're saying, because usually they're a little more welcoming when they go to the dining hall, or, when people go for tours. It's those type residents are more outspoken, come up to you, hey, how you doing? Glad you're here. I really like it here. I hope are you moving in? That really helps somebody. So just kind of think about when, I don't know, you're in college, you're in a new dorm, and you don't know anybody. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, and just have those friends that come over and make things a lot better. So what about bingo, Brittany, the unspoken rivalry in senior living? I mean, obviously that's a big game, I know. And there's a lot of other games like Wii bowling. That's a real competitive kind of thing in my area. And there's a lot of other activities and things, but bingo is just not a game. It's a battlefield. I want to show you a video in a second, Brittany, but what's your thoughts on bingo being a battlefield?
I agree. It could be a battlefield for the person calling bingo too, not even just the residents. They are really, if you talk too loud, talk too fast, don't, move fast enough. But yeah, the residents, it is, I've done the bingos at the senior centers. It's about 500 people.
Yeah.
They're not in a senior living community yet. Like they don't live in one, but they go to the activities and the senior center. It's intense. I mean, if you don't keep up, or if you have to ask, or if you call bingo too early, too late, whatever that is, I mean, they get mouthy. I've heard some bullies, that's for sure. And like, you'll hear them, I guess, at the senior center, they have like a table. They call them the bullies.
Yeah.
And they all, if you say bingo and it's like, here she goes again, like they have comments for everything. So yeah, it really is.
That's awesome. There's one guy I follow on YouTube. I cannot remember his name, save my life. He's a younger guy, Brittany. He's probably about your age. Tall guy. Not that matters or anything. He's black hair. I'm kind of visioning. I still can't think of his name. So I'm searching for it. But he ends up going to this, it wasn't totally a senior hall, but he went to this bingo hall. But it was a lot of seniors that were there. And the guy was just playing a prank. And the whole prank was, he would yell bingo before he had bingo, and he did it multiple times. And the older people that were around him, boy, they were getting ticked off, man. I was like, even the first time he did it, somebody went, "There's no way you got bingo." And then he did it a second, third, fourth time, boy, they were ready to throw him out. Boy, it is a battlefield. So you look at here, I want you to listen to what they say here too, just for a few seconds here, but listen to how do they describe bingo. Oh, that's the wrong one, Brittany.
That's the snowball fight.
I'm not showing snowball fight. Hang on a second.
Cute.
Stop the snowball fight. Oh my goodness. We crashed that one, didn't we? All right, let's get that again. Let's remove that one. But I thought I had it all set up, Brittany, and I just it's where I need Josh. Josh, where are you at? Josh on the controls here. Here we go.
They take their bingo very seriously.
They're intense.
Bingo.
You got it. Yay! Good job. Prior to bingo, we did activities from their doorway.
We had to have bingo in the hallway.
We put little tabletop stands outside of the doors.
TV.
How big bingo is
Use
with
a marker
seniors, you
instead of
guys.
bingo
I'm telling you, it's
chips to mark
huge.
their numbers.
Not a
We
hard
would kinda
game,
have our staff
easy.
go up and down, and it's bingo time. It's bingo time.
We would still say bingo. We still had that joy.
You got it. Good.
That's awesome. Have you seen the video where Matthew McConaughey did a senior bingo deal? It was all online. Oh, that was hilarious. Anyway, if you get a chance to YouTube that thing, that's freaking hilarious. Matthew McConaughey doing all that stuff. So, and what about, we'll end with this, but disappearing walkers and wheelchairs and things like that are going out there, Brittany? I mean, you can imagine, if you're just using a walker, a wheelchair, and you kind of just park it somewhere, maybe it's just outside your door, and you go to the dining hall, or maybe you're able to sit down and you kind of push it off to the side, and how frustrating it can be when you get up and that thing's gone. And so have you ever heard about, you were in a dining hall, so did you ever see that kind of thing happen, or is that just kind of once in a blue moon thing?
Every day. So our dining room, we were independent living. So we would get them to their chair and then take their walkers back out. So they would park them in the hallway on the two sides of the dining room. Couple things. They would take the wrong walker. They would, they would leave their walkers, which was very, very common. They would just walk back to their apartment and forget they, had them there. Yeah. And then they would swap all the time. So we would always encourage them. We had some residents that had a big piece of yellow paper, had their name on it, Paul, because they all look alike. They'd swap them. They'd forget them. The tours I went on yesterday, we were in the lobby and there's 3 walkers just randomly by the elevator. So it made me, who knows, a lot of times especially if they're just getting used to using one, they don't even think to grab it. They used to switch them, or every day after dinner, we would have probably at least, 2 hanging out that we'd have to figure out who they were.
That's crazy. I could see, obviously I've never used a walker at this point in my life, but I could see that would be frustrating. Especially if you just put it off to the side and you kind of forget about it, go eat, get into some conversation, and then you turn around and the thing's gone. And it's for a senior or just anybody that needs something, if it's not there, think in terms how frustrating that can be. And for a senior, it's the same thing. And so, you kind of, now you're kind of looking from afar and watching somebody use your walker going across, and they don't really know, but they're taking it. So, or it could be a staff member too. A staff member just think that somebody else left it, so they kind of put it to the side, not realizing it's somebody else. But it's just that disappearing kind of stuff. It could be any items that they bring to the dining hall. It could be books. It could be anything. Just think in terms of college dormitory life, or just any kind of life that you're sharing common areas with other people. And doesn't mean people are being thieves and mischievous and all that. It just happens by accident. I think a lot of times, especially with the walkers, that's just a kind of a thing. They, like to your point earlier, they all look alike for the most part. So
we decorate them up. We would decorate them. The woman would decorate them. Yeah. Glasses and hearing aids. That's the other two things. Glasses for hearing aids. Number one, definitely hearing aids are the hardest thing to keep track of. And now they're so expensive. A lot of them, they like hook to the TV and they're Bluetooth. So they're really, that was one of the most common things. Like you said, books, canes. Yeah. A lot of them would carry around like notebooks or journals with like their activity calendar in it and the menu on it, stuff like that. Yep.
Yeah.
We're lost and found. The dining room is the lost and found for sure.
That's right. Well, you guys, I'm telling you, if you want to get into a business that's fun, and again, you're going to have traumatic times. There's going to be, like I said earlier in this video, times where families are crying. It's a time of despair. It really rocks their world. It really does. I'm not minimizing that, but I am here to say there is the other side of this. And the other side is there's a lot of fun, a lot of memories that you will participate in, meaning like the stories that Brittany remembers and I remember. And we didn't get into a whole lot of them today. We just kind of hit some key points. But these times will go with me the rest of my life. I'm sure when I get older, I'll probably be chuckling about some of the things that I've seen. And so if you want more information about that, just click the link down below. You can watch a webinar. You can schedule a call with us. You can know more about the TSL technology that we're doing throughout the nation to help families to be empowered to make decisions on their own, all that good stuff. But hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it was kind of funny. We just kind of wanted to change the pace a little bit today. And I know we're always kind of real serious, Brittany, because that's what we do. And most of it's kind of that serious. But there's times to take a kind of a lighter approach about things. Just kind of smile and be grateful, be thankful about life. And man, just think about it. If your loved one's in assisted living now and they're being well taken care of and they're having some moments like this, whether it's kind of frustrating moments with the walker disappearing or whether it's a funny moment, and bingo, and they're laughing and they're winning, they're just having, all that, just be grateful. They're enjoying their life to the fullest as best they can. So, hey, until next time, God bless.